Let's talk about Tyndall effect. Basically, it was a part of colloid and colloidal solution. So Tyndall effect is, we know in the when we talk in class 10th, we also know in from basic like in 7th 8th. The overall is a scattering of light. Basically it was a nothing, it was a when the dust particles on in the light beam is basically called the Tyndall effect. The Tyndall shows this effect is called. First of all, the scientist Tyndall shows this type of effect, so this they name this Tyndall effect. Basically it was nothing, it was a scattering of light, means when the light particles the dust the particles is small in the lights, we call this the Tyndall effect. For example, like when we go and when we go any side, forest side, we see like in a when the trees when this like in a very big type of trees, so when the light in like in a early morning and anything else, we see that the when the lights are come, we see the dust particle in the light. When even though we seen in morning, like when the in maybe rainy season or any seasons, we see that the light which come from the sun is come from window. So we see that is the light has clearly visible and it has a small type of dust, like in a particles we seeing like floating in the air. So these particles this type of effect is called Tyndall effect. This effect was shown by Tyndall, so that's why it's called Tyndall effect. And this beam where these particles are located, we see the beam like in a shell type of like in a piece of paper, when thick like of it, we see this beam type of structure of the light. This is called a Tyndall beam. Okay, this is called a Tyndall beam, that is called a Tyndall beam. So overall note for it, the Tyndall effect is scattering of light, and uh, which shows this like in the beam. Okay, is called Tyndall beam. Now this was a basic idea of Tyndall effect. Now we talk about the true solution. So the true solutions are not so the Tyndall effect, not so Tyndall effect. So this was the Tyndall effect in the real life. When we see the Tyndall effect in another way, for example, we have a solutions like we have a solution where we solution like in not a true solution. So in that case, we have a colloidal particle, we have a soul particles on it. So when we put a light beam on it, we clearly see the path of light. With this path is like in this effect, Tyndall effect, the path is called Tyndall beam according to the Tyndall effect. Okay, and for real type understanding, you can do by own, like in like in a fog. When we put the laser on the fog, we see the path of this laser light. This is an example of, you can simply think of like an Tyndall effect. Now we discuss some another thing. Okay, so let's talk about first of all the soul particles. The soul particles, when the solid are in the liquid form, means we have a liquid, and in this liquid we put the solid. For example, we have a liquid of water, that is a water in liquid, and we put the mud or anything which is like a solid form, and when we dissolve it, we have two cases, like in NaCl. So in that, NaCl is totally dissolved, but we choose a particles which do not dissolve in the liquid. It dissolve a little, overall dissolve, but do not dissolve, and something like in something like in between suspension and true solution. Basically, this is the part of colloidal. We talk about the sol. The sol means basically when solid add to the liquid is called sol. And the ultra microscope, when see the sol particle in the ultra microscope, we find only aura, like we find only aura of this particle. For the clear picture of the shape of the particle, solid particles, we use electron microscope, that is electron microscope. Basically it was nothing but we throw out the bombardment of electron beam in the film sheet, and we see the particles of this thing, and we get the actual shape of it. In next class we talk about the lipophobic and lipophilic sols. We talk about the what is the sol particle, the colloidal solution. We also talk about the purifications method of colloidal solution. We talk about peptidization, double decomposition, aggregation method, reduction, and also overall many things. For better understanding, please watch the full video and like and subscribe.